And welcome. My name is Nicholas Carter, and today I'm going to be talking about impacts of recreation on water. Water is obviously important to us as humans. We need it to survive. We're made out of it. We wash our clothes and dishes with it. We bathe in it. We cook in it, and it powers our cities. And of course, we recreate in it. So, let's see how recreating might impact our water. Here we have a few examples of impacts that you might find on water from recreating. Things like erosion, invasive species, nutrient influx, pollution, and pathogens. These things can disrupt the sensitive ecosystems within our waterways, but they also can affect our recreation experience. And these impacts will most likely be seen in popular and easily accessed recreation areas, but they're not limited just to the easy ones. Backcountry camping often gets overlooked at, for their impacts just because of how remote it is, but because of how remote it is, their ecosystems are going to be a lot more fragile. So while these impacts are not as drastic as the ones seen in highly trafficked areas, they can still have lasting effects on an ecosystem. So let's take a look at erosion. Erosion has a pretty big impact on waterways. Introducing new soils can shift the composition of a riverbed. It'll disrupt the oxygen content in the water. It'll make it cloudy. And it's also going to offset the pH balance of the water, which is very important for fish. And as we know, erosion is a natural process. Think like rainwater and shifting ground cover is going to change the rate at which the ground erodes and dumps into the water. But recreational activities such as camping, hiking, four-wheeling, and boating accelerates that process, oftentimes past the point of what the ecosystem can handle. And next, we'll look at invasive species. If you know about it, zebra mussels are a pretty famous invasive species in the United States. They were introduced to the Great Lakes on cargo ships that traveled from Europe to the United States. And once they got to the Great Lakes, the zebra mussels really took off because they didn't have any competitors. And if you look up pictures of them online, you can see like hundreds and hundreds of them on the bottoms of boats and on docks, and it puts a picture of how big their impact is. And here in Maine, we have populations of what's called Eurasian milfoil. It's kind of popping up throughout lakes in southern Maine. Uh, these long viney plants are going to grab onto boat propellers, and when the boats get pulled out of the water and moved into another lake, the seeds are going to come off of that plant and then establish more of them. And since boating in Maine is very popular in the summer, the spread of Eurasian milfoil has been pretty hard to stop. As you can see over here, there's a little sign, and in this slide, we've got another sign saying, hey, clean off your boat. These are going to be at like boat docks or launches, and hopefully people are seeing these and checking their boat for Eurasian milfoil. Next, we'll look at nutrient influx. And when you see the word nutrient, when we hear nutrient, we think it's like a good thing, right? Because typically it is, but sometimes it can have a pretty bad effect. So on this picture on the right, you see this pipe spitting out some dirty looking water. Hopefully it's just dirty looking water and not sewage or waste. But water in these pipes can pick up minerals like lead and iron and deposit them in the water. Nutrients can also be introduced through erosion, the salts off of your body, and human waste. And so what's bad about nutrient influx is if there's a plant or species that favors specific nutrients, getting a lot of those nutrients in the water is going to kind of create a favorable environment just for that species. And so you'll find that a balanced ecosystem can turn into a monoculture pretty quickly with some prolonged nutrient influx. And lastly, we're going to look at introducing pathogens in the water. Now, this one you might not think about too much just because you don't see them, but it can affect pretty largely how your recreation experience is going to go. Pathogens can be introduced to a waterway off of ourselves, our pets, animals that we might have with us, or sick individuals who choose, hey, today I want to go out and swim or boat or something. These pathogens may affect the plants and animals of an aquatic system, but they're mostly going to impact you as you recreate. It's always important to make sure that you are in good health when using a shared recreation space, and also to make sure that you don't have any open wounds. You never know what's going to be in that water. You don't want to be getting sick. And to wrap up today, here's just a little reminder to never dump trash into the water. Number one, it's highly illegal. Number two, it's destructive to ecosystems. But number three, you will be made fun of on the internet, such as these individuals in this picture. They certainly look very silly, and I wouldn't want to be them. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.